Let's be real for a second. You've probably scrolled past 100 Scandinavian-style videos that just show you white walls and a beige couch, and you walked away thinking, okay, but why does my white living room still feel stressful? Here's the truth nobody tells you. Scandinavian design isn't about color. It's not even about furniture. It's about psychology. It's about how a space makes your nervous system feel the moment you walk into it. Most people copy the look and completely miss the feeling. They buy the same neutral sofa, the same IKEA shelf, the same fiddle leaf fig, and their home still feels chaotic. Today, that changes. By the end of this video, you'll understand the real ideas behind Scandinavian homes, the ones that make people from Copenhagen to Oslo feel calm, grounded, and at peace the second they close the front door. And idea number 1 is something almost everyone gets completely wrong. Design idea number 1, light neutral color palette. Let's start with color, because this is where most people mess up. They think neutral means boring. It doesn't. In Scandinavian homes, light colors exist for a reason rooted in survival. Long, dark winters mean every hour of daylight matters, so walls are kept soft and pale to bounce whatever light exists around the room. Psychologically, light colors lower visual noise. Your brain doesn't have to process a busy room, so it relaxes almost instantly. Try warm whites, soft grays, and muted beiges instead of stark, cold white. Add one grounding tone, like a soft charcoal or deep green, so the room doesn't feel flat. The atmosphere this creates feels like a deep exhale. Open, airy, unrushed. But color alone isn't enough to make a space feel Scandinavian, because the next idea is what gives that palette its warmth, and most homes are missing it completely. Design idea number 2, natural wood finishes. Here's something interesting. Humans are biologically wired to feel calmer around natural materials. It's called biophilic design, and Scandinavian homes have used it for decades without even naming it. Wood introduces warmth, texture, and imperfection into a space that would otherwise feel too sterile. Think light oak floors, pale wood furniture, or a simple wooden coffee table with visible grain. Avoid glossy, dark, heavy wood tones. Scandinavian style favors light, natural finishes that feel soft rather than formal. Even one wooden stool or wooden tray can shift a whole room's energy. The feeling this creates is grounding, like the space is quietly connected to nature, even in the middle of a city apartment. But here is where it gets even better. Because wood and color only set the tone of a home, the next idea is what actually makes it livable, and it's the secret behind why Scandinavian homes never feel cluttered. Design idea number 3, functional minimalism. This is where people usually get minimalism wrong. They think it means empty, sterile, cold. Real Scandinavian minimalism isn't about having less stuff. It's about having only what serves a purpose or brings genuine joy. Every item in the room should either function well or feel meaningful. If it does neither, it doesn't belong. Start by removing anything purely decorative that adds visual clutter without purpose. Choose furniture with clean lines and simple shapes instead of ornate detailing. This creates a mental effect too. Fewer visual decisions your brain has to make means less subconscious stress every time you walk into the room. The atmosphere feels light, clear, and intentional, like every object was chosen, not just placed. Most people stop here and think their home is done, but minimalism without warmth can feel cold, and that's exactly why the next idea exists. Design idea number 4, cozy layered textures. This is the piece most people completely overlook. They make their home minimal and neutral and then wonder why it feels empty instead of peaceful. The missing ingredient is texture. Scandinavian homes layer soft materials to create warmth without adding visual clutter. Think chunky knit blankets, linen cushions, sheepskin throws, and woven baskets. Texture engages touch, and touch is deeply tied to comfort and safety in the brain. Add at least 3 different textures to any room, like wood, wool, and cotton, to create depth without using extra color. Drape a blanket over a chair, layer 2 cushions with slightly different textures, add a woven rug underfoot. The atmosphere becomes tactile and inviting, the kind of room you actually want to curl up, not just look at. This single idea is often the difference between a home that looks nice in photos and one that feels good to live in. But even the coziest textures can't fix a room that feels dark and lifeless, which brings us to something most renters and homeowners underestimate completely. Design idea number 5. Large windows and natural light. Light isn't just aesthetic, it's emotional. Natural light directly affects mood, energy, and even sleep quality by regulating your circadian rhythm. Scandinavian homes are designed to maximize every drop of daylight, especially since natural sunlight is limited for large parts of the year. If you have windows, keep them uncovered or use sheer, lightweight curtains instead of heavy drapes. Position mirrors across from windows to bounce light deeper into the room. Keep furniture low and away from window sight lines so light can travel freely. The effect is immediate. Rooms feel more open, alive, and awake rather than closed in and heavy. And if your space doesn't get much natural light, that's exactly why the next idea exists, and it might be the most underrated design tool in this entire list. Design idea number 6. Scandinavian lighting. This is the detail almost nobody talks about, but it changes everything. Scandinavian homes use layered lighting instead of one harsh overhead bulb. Overhead lighting alone creates flat, clinical energy, the kind you'd expect in an office, not a home. Instead, use a mix of floor lamps, table lamps, and candles to create pools of warm light at different heights. Choose warm white bulbs instead of cool white or daylight bulbs. Warm light instantly feels more relaxing to the nervous system. Candles, especially unscented ones, add flickering warmth that mimics natural firelight, something humans have found comforting for thousands of years. The atmosphere this creates feels intimate, soft, and calming, even in the evening when natural light disappears. Once lighting feels right, most rooms already feel 70% more peaceful. But there's one more natural element missing from most homes, and it might be the simplest fix on this entire list. Design idea number 7. Indoor plants. Here's something surprising. Plants aren't just decoration in Scandinavian homes. They're considered essential, almost like furniture. Because natural materials like wood and stone are already present, plants complete the connection to nature that biophilic design relies on. Choose simple, low-maintenance plants like snake plants, pothos, or a small fig tree. Place them near windows where they'll get natural light and become part of the room's rhythm, not just a random accessory in the corner. Even a small cluster of plants on a shelf can visually soften hard lines from furniture and walls. Studies consistently show that indoor greenery lowers stress and improves air quality, which explains why Scandinavian homes never feel sterile despite being minimal. The atmosphere shifts into something alive, fresh, and quietly nurturing. At this point, your space is looking good, but we haven't even touched the furniture yet, and the next idea might completely change how you think about buying it. Design idea number 8. Simple furniture. This is where a lot of people overspend without realizing it. Scandinavian furniture isn't about looking expensive, it's about looking honest. Clean lines, visible craftsmanship, no unnecessary curves, patterns, or embellishments. Choose furniture that serves one purpose extremely well instead of pieces trying to do everything. A simple wooden chair, a low-profile sofa, a table with tapered legs and no excess detailing. This isn't about spending less, it's about choosing pieces with intention instead of impulse. Avoid overly matched furniture sets, which can feel showroom staged rather than lived in. Mixing slightly different wood tones and simple shapes actually creates a more natural, collected over time feeling. The atmosphere becomes quiet and uncluttered, letting your eyes rest instead of jumping from object to object. And this next detail might be the biggest difference of all because it's the one thing that separates a nice room from a truly beautiful one. Design idea number 9, beautiful styling details. Here's something most people miss entirely. Scandinavian homes rarely look decorated, they look curated. That difference comes down to intentional styling, not more stuff. Group items in odd numbers like 3 candles or 3 books stacked with a small object on top. Leave negative space around objects instead of filling every surface. Empty space isn't wasted space. It's what makes the room feel calm instead of cluttered. Choose a handful of meaningful objects, like a ceramic vase, a ceramic bowl, or a ceramic plant pot, rather than dozens of small trinkets. Repeat 2 or 3 materials throughout the room, like ceramic, wood, and linen, to create visual harmony. The result feels effortless, like the space simply happened this way, even though every detail was chosen with care. This is often the exact ingredient that separates a Pinterest-perfect room from a real livable Scandinavian home. But even with everything we've covered, there's one final layer that ties it all together, and it's less about design and more about feeling. Design idea number 10, hygge atmosphere. This is the idea Scandinavian countries are most famous for. Hygge isn't a design style, it's a feeling of coziness, comfort, and contentment. It's the reason a Scandinavian home can feel warm and inviting even with very few objects in the room. Create small daily rituals within your space, like lighting a candle in the evening or keeping a soft blanket within reach for tea time. Dim overhead lights after sunset and let lamps and candles take over the room's glow. Play soft background music or simply enjoy quiet, unrushed silence. Hygge isn't something you buy, it's something you build through small, repeated moments of comfort inside your home. And when you combine that feeling with everything else we've talked about today, that's when a house actually starts to feel like a sanctuary. So here's the truth about Scandinavian design. It was never about expensive furniture or perfect Pinterest photos or spending thousands of dollars on a look. It's about creating calm through thoughtful, intentional choices. Light, texture, simplicity, nature, and small daily comfort. You don't need a big budget to feel peace in your home. You just need intention. So tell me, which Scandinavian idea was your favorite? Was it the lighting, the textures, or that final hygge feeling? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more home decor and interior design inspiration because we're just getting started.